Welcome back, SHIBUI always here. Today, we're kicking off a brand new series, diving deep into the lore of weapons in the SHIBUI universe. And what better way to start than with the weapon my very own channel is named after, the legendary Dragon Daggers. These blades are more than just finely crafted weapons. They carry a story passed down through generations, filled with mystery, ancient alloys, and untold power. So, let's get into it. Weapons in the SHIBUI universe aren't just tools of combat. Each one holds its own legacy, crafted by mythical beings, forged in impossible conditions, or imbued with magical properties that go beyond steel and fire. These are symbols of power, history, and the warriors who wielded them. And today, we're exploring one of the most iconic sets of blades, the Dragon Daggers. When my mother first suggested that I keep a journal, I was not really into the idea of spending time writing down boring thoughts that nobody would ever read other than myself. I thought it to be a waste. That time would be better spent training, hunting, or racing those silly boys. They always think they can beat me, and they never do. After we lost my father, like so many of our clan did, I saw the value in recording those little details. Today is one day that I wanted to remember clearly. I turned 18, which, according to my mother, was old enough to finally receive the gift my father had left for me. With careful and almost reverent hands, she held something wrapped in silk and tied with a bit of snakeskin. I took it from her and quickly ran to the table, anxious to unwrap that precious reminder of my father. After removing the bindings, the silk effortlessly slipped away, revealing the most beautiful pair of daggers I'd ever seen. They were ornate beyond compare, with intricate gold inlays and skillfully set gemstones. The hilts were shaped to resemble twin dragon heads, whose appearance reminded me of the fairy tales my grandfather used to tell. I found them to be perfectly balanced and light, but stronger than any metal I'd known. After lunch, I took them to Master Valkanen to give him a look. I'd never seen him so intrigued and puzzled over a weapon. He said they were forged from an impossible alloy, one made up of a combination of extremely rare metals. The ore of one could only be found in the remote mines of the mountains to the east. The other metal comes from the deepest parts of Calm Lake, the depth of which makes accessing it impossible to most. That means the only way to get it is to trade with the Lacus people. What truly made it impossible, he said, was that no forge in Zelania could produce a flame hot enough to create this alloy. Not his forge, nor even those of the Murakami family could even get close. Even my mother couldn't tell me how my father came to possess them, but she did remember some old tales telling of a pair just like them. In the tales, the daggers were said to belong to the very first sensei. From the Journal of Liliana, woman warrior of the Lightwalkers. Alright, now that we've taken in the full lore, let's break this down piece by piece and really start asking the important questions, starting with the inheritance itself. Liliana receives these daggers on her 18th birthday. Clearly, this isn't just a gift. It's a rite of passage, something deeply symbolic. And the wrapping of the daggers in snakeskin? That could hint at transformation or hidden power. In the SHIBUI universe, snakes often represent rebirth. Could this mean that wielding the dragon daggers might awaken something dormant in Liliana, or others who wield them? And let's not forget the twin dragon heads on the hilts. In many cultures, dragons are often protectors of ancient knowledge or power. Could these daggers be linked to the dragons of Baransu, possibly crafted in the forges of the Dragon Islands? Remember, the dragons in the SHIBUI universe don't just exist to wreak havoc. They are creators of some of the most powerful weapons. These daggers could very well hold the secret to their ancient knowledge. Now, let's talk about the impossible alloy. Master Valkanen, the village smith, describes it as something beyond anything he's seen. An alloy made from metals only found in the deepest parts of Baransu. He specifically mentions Calm Lake, which is fiercely protected by the Lacus people. We know from the lore that the Lacus people are guardians of a hidden portal. Could they also be protecting ancient materials that power the greatest weapons of the realm? Imagine this. What if these metals hold some form of magical property, perhaps allowing the dragon daggers to connect with their wielder on a spiritual level? That would make sense when Liliana talks about feeling the weight of the daggers in her soul rather than just in her hand. Then there's this key part. These are not just tools of battle, but keys to something far greater. What could Valkanen be talking about here? Keys to what? And speaking of keys, let's remember how the daggers are said to have once belonged to the first sensei of the Lightwalkers. This connects them not only to Liliana's family, but possibly to the broader fate of the Lightwalkers themselves. It could be why Master Valkanen calls them keys, because they unlock more than just doors. They unlock the destiny of an entire clan. Could Emerald herself be the next wielder? And what would that mean for her journey with the Eternal Blade? So there we have it, the Dragon Daggers, a weapon with deep connections to the Lightwalkers, ancient forges, and possibly even the fate of Baron Su itself. But there's still so much to uncover. What powers do these daggers truly hold? And how will they play into the bigger picture of the Shibui universe? Now here's where you come in. What weapon do you want me to cover next? Comment below and let me know. Until next time, Shanti Ma Aun Kami.